Welcome to this edition of Back in History. In this edition, we present to you the profile of Helena Ritz Fathia Nkrumah, the wife of Ghana's first Prime Minister and first President, Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. Fathia was a Coptic Christian from Egypt. She was born on 22nd February 1932. Nkrumah was born in 1909. Fathia was thus 23 years younger in age than Nkrumah. Fathia was the first child of her parents, who were civil servants in Cairo. She lost her father at a tender age and was raised by her mother. She was the eldest of 5 children. She attended schools in Egypt, and upon graduation, she was employed as a teacher. She later left teaching and took a job in the bank, where she worked till her marriage to Kwame Nkrumah. The story has it that Kwame Nkrumah had a bosom friend of many years by name Saleh Sinare. Nkrumah and Sinare had been friends for so many years. They grew up together. Sinare left Ghana and traveled to Egypt to further his studies. He was one of the first Ghanaian Muslims to study in Egypt. While there, Nkrumah requested that Sinare should find him a wife from Egypt. Sinare showed him 5 beautiful ladies in all, and Kwame Nkrumah picked interest in Fathia. Kwame then made a proposal to her to have her as his wife. Arrangements were quickly made for Fathia to fly to Ghana for the wedding ceremony. On the evening of 1957 New Year's Eve, Kwame Nkrumah was joined in holy matrimony to his heartthrob Fathia in a ceremony held at the Christiansburg Castle in Accra, Ghana. Fathia remained with Nkrumah in Ghana for several years, and together they gave birth to Samia Nkrumah, Gamal Nkrumah, and Sekou Nkrumah. She was the first lady of Ghana for several years and enjoyed the best of time with her husband, whom analysts have said was a loving husband to her. But on 24th February 1966, her husband was removed from office in a military coup. At the time of the coup, Fathia and the children were in Ghana, while Nkrumah was on a state visit to Hanoi in North Vietnam. The reality of the removal of her husband was a painful reality to the family, and life from this moment on was not going to be the same again for Fathia, her husband, and the children. The military government in power did not want to see Nkrumah back in Ghana. That was the government led by General Joseph Ankara as the head of state of Ghana. Nkrumah was warned not to return to Ghana. Truly, Nkrumah did not return to Ghana. He remained in North Vietnam for about 4 days until he was invited by his friend Sékou Touré, president of Guinea, to fly from North Vietnam and take residence in Guinea. Nkrumah accepted the invitation and flew to Guinea, where he lived there for many years till his death. Fathia could not remain in Ghana alone and did not also join Nkrumah in Guinea. She moved the children to Cairo in Egypt, her home country. The children attended schools there in Egypt. Fathia remained in marriage and never married any other person. She remained in constant communication with her husband and paid some visits to the husband in Guinea until Nkrumah's passing in 1972. Nkrumah was first buried in Guinea, and Fathia was in attendance at the funeral. Nkrumah's body was later exhumed and flown back to Ghana, where he was laid in state and later moved to his ancestral village in Krufo, where he was buried a second time. Nkrumah's body was again exhumed and buried at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park in Accra, Ghana. It has been reported that Fathia was a loving wife to Kwame Nkrumah and that she remained committed to her marriage to Nkrumah in good time and in bad time. She accompanied her husband's corpse at every point of his burial, exhumation, and reburial. With the passage of time, age began to take a toll on Fathia, and on 31st May 2007, 35 years after the death of her husband, she passed on to the great beyond at the age of 75. She died at Badrawi Hospital in Cairo, Egypt. The Requiem Mass in her honor was held at the Coptic Orthodox Cathedral Church in Cairo a day after her death, precisely on the first day of June 2007. The Mass was presided over by Pope Shenouda III, and the funeral was attended by numerous sympathizers and family members. Her remains were flown to Ghana, where she was received at the State House Ghana and accorded a state funeral, and following her lifelong desire, Fathia was buried next to her late husband at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, Accra, Ghana. This marked the end of the life and times of Helena Ritz Fathia Nkrumah, the former First Lady of Ghana and the wife of the first Prime Minister and first President of Ghana, Kwame Osagyefo Nkrumah. Fathia was an example of a loving wife and a consummate lover of family, even in the face of adversity. She represented a good example of the saying, quote, "Till death do us part." She came, she saw, and lived for many years. She will be remembered in the history books of Ghana, Egypt, Africa as a whole, and the world at large for many years to come. Thanks for watching this edition of Back in History, and do remember to subscribe to the channel or follow the page for regular notification on every new video.